let me say this clearly. This is not motivation. This is not positive thinking. This is not a believe in yourself speech. This is the truth. And the truth is uncomfortable. Most people avoid it because it hurts their pride, their hope, and their illusions. But if you are serious about changing your life, you must hear this without anger, without excuses, and without denial. No one is really your friend until you win. Yes, people will smile at you, they will talk with you, they will joke with you, they will sit next to you when life is easy and familiar. But the moment you struggle, something shifts. The moment you fall behind, the energy changes. The moment you have nothing to offer except effort and belief, the room becomes quieter. When your dreams are bigger than your current life, people become uncomfortable. They don't argue with you. They don't fight you. They simply disappear. Not loudly, not with drama. They disappear quietly. They stop calling. They stop replying. They stop asking, "How are you doing?" And one day you realize you are always the one checking in, always the one reaching out, always the one explaining yourself. And the worst part is not their absence. The worst part is the realization that you thought they were real. You shared your fears with them. You supported them when they were lost. You believed loyalty was mutual. But life teaches a hard lesson late. Most people are not attached to you. They're attached to the version of you that makes them comfortable. So if you feel alone right now, listen carefully. If you feel invisible, forgotten, or replaced, this message is for you. If you feel like you are walking forward while everyone else walks away, you are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are transitioning. Walking alone is not a punishment. It is not a mistake. It is not something to be ashamed of. Walking alone is preparation. It is the silent test before respect arrives. Because before the world respects you, it removes the crowd. Before it gives you recognition, it takes away reassurance. So don't skip this moment. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. This loneliness is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of becoming someone's presence no longer needs permission, validation, or approval of anyone. Everyone starts ordinary, not broken, not weak, just unseen. Before anyone knows your name, before anyone respects your opinion, you exist quietly in the background of other people's lives. This is where every meaningful journey begins. Not with applause, not with confidence, but with uncertainty. When you decide to speak your dream out loud, you are not asking for permission. You are revealing a future that does not yet exist in their minds, and that makes people uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. They feel safer believing in what already is than imagining what could become through discipline, patience, sacrifice, time, effort, alone. You tell people your dream, not strangers, friends, family, people you trust. You expect curiosity, maybe concern, maybe quiet support. Instead, they laugh, sometimes softly, sometimes openly, sometimes disguised as advice. They say things like, "Be realistic," or "That's not for people like us." They are not attacking your dream. They are defending their understanding of the world. Your ambition threatens the limits they accepted long ago, and laughter becomes their shield against fear. It is easier to mock than to question their own choices, regrets, compromises, and quiet disappointments buried under routine, survival, comfort, habit, tradition, safety, familiarity, normality. They do not laugh because your dream is stupid. They laugh because your current version does not match it. People judge with their eyes, not their imagination. They see your situation, your income, your accent, your background. They do not see late nights, internal battles, or the slow formation of discipline. Potential is invisible to those who only believe in evidence, and until you produce results, you are not a promise. You are a question they do not want to answer. So they reduce you to what you are now because it protects their sense of order, hierarchy, certainty, control. This is not cruelty. It feels personal, but it is human nature. Psychologically, people trust patterns that already exist. They respect status because status feels safe. Supporting potential requires risk, and most people avoid risk at all costs. History shows this again and again. Before innovators were celebrated, they were ridiculed. Before leaders were followed, they were doubted. Before voices were heard, they were ignored. The timeline never changes, only the names do. Rejection is not proof of failure. It is proof that you are outside the average path, where vision comes before validation, belief before evidence, effort before reward. When people laugh at you now, it does not mean you are wrong. It means your future has arrived before your reputation. You are speaking from a place they have never visited. That gap creates tension, and instead of stepping into discomfort, they pull you back to familiarity. This is why many people abandon their dreams early, not because the dream died, but because laughter felt heavier than belief. They chose belonging over becoming, comfort over growth, approval over purpose. But every meaningful transformation demands separation first. That contradiction ends here. Early growth requires distance, patience, courage, endurance, faith, alone. So understand this clearly. When you are laughed at, you are not being rejected as a person. You are being measured by a past version of yourself. People cannot respect what they cannot imagine, and imagination grows only after proof arrives. This is why respect always comes late. First, you are ignored. Then you are doubted. Then you are criticized. And only after results appear, you are accepted. This sequence never changes, so stop asking why they don't believe in you yet. The real question is whether you believe in yourself long enough to survive being early, unseen, doubted, alone. This is where most stories die. Not because people fail, but because they talk too much. They explain their plans to the wrong people. They announce goals before building strength. They seek validation before developing skill. When you finally realize that no one truly believes you, something inside you shifts quietly but permanently. You stop explaining yourself. You stop announcing what you are about to do. You stop defending your dream like it is on trial. Not because you lost belief, but because belief has become internal. You understand that words do not create respect. Results do. And results require silence, focus, and time without witnesses. So you begin to work in silence. Early mornings before the world wakes up, late nights when distractions fade away, small rooms where ambition feels larger than space, limited tools that force creativity. You learn to extract progress from discomfort. You learn to work without encouragement. You learn to continue even when motivation disappears. While others scroll endlessly, you study. While others party, you practice. While others complain, you repeat. Repetition becomes your language. Discipline becomes your identity. There are no dramatic moments, no viral posts, no applause, just consistency, boredom, effort, and quiet resistance against your old habits. From the outside, nothing seems to change. You look the same, you sound the same, your life appears ordinary. People assume you are stuck. They stop asking questions, they stop checking in. Some think you gave up. Others think you are never serious. Their assumptions no longer matter to you. Inside, however, everything is changing. Your brain is rewiring itself through repetition. Your attention span is strengthening. Your tolerance for discomfort is increasing. You are becoming calmer under pressure, stronger in uncertainty, more patient with delayed results. These changes are invisible, but they are irreversible. This is how real transformation works. It does not announce itself. It does not seek permission. It grows quietly beneath the surface, like roots before a tree breaks the ground. Most people quit because they cannot see progress. They confuse silence with stagnation. They mistake invisibility for failure. Silence is not weakness. Silence is structure being built. It is strategy. It is self-respect. When you work quietly, you protect your energy. You reduce outside noise. You eliminate unnecessary opinions. You allow your identity to form without interference. This is how confidence becomes stable instead of loud. The silent years test something deeper than skill. They test character. They test whether you can stay loyal to a future version of yourself without external proof, whether you can continue without praise, whether you can commit without certainty. This is where discipline replaces motivation permanently. Many people want success, but few want the silence that comes before it. Silence feels lonely. It feels unrewarded. It feels unfair. But silence is the price of focus. It is the environment where discipline grows naturally. Without silence, effort scatters. With silence, effort compounds. During these years, you begin to change how you measure progress. Not by attention, not by money, not by approval. You measure progress by consistency, by hours invested, by skills sharpened, by habits reinforced. These metrics are private. Only you can see them. This phase removes your dependence on being seen. You stop performing. You stop comparing. You stop rushing. You begin building for longevity instead of recognition. That is when your work becomes dangerous, because once a person can work without applause, nothing can stop them. Most people never talk about this phase because it is not exciting. It does not inspire instantly. It does not look impressive. But this is the phase that decides everything. Without it, success collapses under pressure. With it, success becomes inevitable. So if your life feels quiet right now, pay attention. If nobody's clapping, notice that too. This silence is not empty. It is full of structure, discipline, and identity forming slowly. You are not behind. You are underground. And what grows underground grows strong enough to stand alone. This is the phase nobody warns you about. You have worked hard. You have stayed consistent. You have sacrificed time, comfort, and certainty. And still, nothing arrives. No money appears. No recognition follows. No clear proof confirms your direction. The silence becomes heavier than the struggle. This phase does not feel dramatic. It feels empty. It feels confusing. It feels unfair. And that is exactly why it is dangerous, because when effort produces no visible result, the mind begins to question everything it once believed. Doubt enters quietly. It does not shout, it whispers. It asks simple questions that slowly drain confidence. Am I moving forward or just repeating the same day? Am I building something real or chasing an illusion? These questions arrive when you are tired, when discipline feels heavy, when progress is invisible. Doubt does not come from weakness, it comes from exhaustion without evidence. And without awareness, it can convince even the strongest person to abandon a path that was actually working. At this stage, comparison becomes a quiet poison. You look around and see others moving ahead. They have jobs with titles. They have connections that open doors. They have visible milestones that confirm progress. Social media becomes a highlight reel of certainty, while your life feels paused. You start wondering why their effort seems rewarded while yours remains unseen.
This comparison is not proof of failure, it is proof that growth does not move on a shared timeline. This is where most people quit, not because the work is impossible, but because the feedback is missing. Humans are wired to respond to signals. When effort is rewarded, behavior continues. When effort disappears into silence, motivation collapses. The brain interprets no feedback as failure, even when progress is happening internally. This is the flaw in human psychology. We mistake delayed results for wasted effort, and temporary invisibility for permanent defeat. If you can survive this phase, you become rare, very rare, because effort without reward builds something deeper than skill. It builds endurance, it builds patience, it builds identity. You learn how to show up without excitement. You learn how to work without praise. You learn how to trust yourself when nothing confirms your direction. These lessons cannot be taught. They must be lived through silence, repetition, and uncertainty. During this period, strength is not loud, it is quiet and repetitive. It looks like routine. It feels boring. It offers no emotional reward, yet it is forging resilience at a level most people never reach. You are training your nervous system to remain steady without external validation. You are becoming dangerous in a way that cannot be seen yet. This is the foundation of long-term confidence. The danger of this phase is not failure. The danger is interpretation. If you interpret silence as rejection, you stop. If you interpret slow progress as incompetence, you quit. But if you interpret this phase correctly, it becomes fuel. You realize the work is shaping you before it rewards you. You understand that consistency without feedback is the final filter that separates builders from dreamers. Effort without reward forces a choice. You either rely on internal standards or collapse under external silence. You either measure progress by discipline or by applause. This is where identity locks in. When you continue despite nothing happening, you prove something to yourself that can never be taken away. You prove that you are not dependent on motivation, you are driven by decision. And once decision replaces emotion, your progress becomes inevitable, regardless of how long results take to appear. This is why surviving this phase almost guarantees success later. Most people never develop the capacity to endure effort without reward. They need signs, they need praise, they need reassurance. When those disappear, they disappear too. But if you remain, your patience compounds, your skill sharpens quietly, your confidence stabilizes. By the time results arrive, you are already prepared to handle them without losing yourself. So if your life feels stalled right now, understand this clearly. You are not stuck. You are being tested. This phase is asking whether you can continue without proof, without praise, without certainty. If you can answer yes, you pass. And passing this phase does not feel victorious. It feels quiet. But that quiet endurance is exactly what makes the next phase unstoppable. Remember this moment later, the days when nothing responded to your effort, the nights when doubt felt logical, the hours when quitting felt reasonable. These moments are not obstacles, they are filters. They remove those who need guarantees, they strengthen those who choose commitment. If you endure this phase, you will never fear slow progress again, because you already survived the silence. That experience becomes permanent inner strength. Nothing external can remove it, ever again.
Then one day, something small happens. Not dramatic, not cinematic, no music, no announcement. Just a moment so quiet that if you are not paying attention, you might miss it. A message appears, a reply comes in, a chance opens slightly. A tiny opportunity shows itself after a long period of silence. To the world, it is nothing. To others, it is insignificant. But to you, it feels different. It does not change your life. It does not solve your problems. It does not remove your fear. Your bank account looks the same. Your routine stays heavy. Your situation remains uncertain. Yet something fundamental shifts inside you, because for the first time, the effort responds. Not loudly, not publicly, but directly. And that response matters more than people understand. This small win gives you proof, not proof that you are successful, not proof that you have arrived, but proof that you are not imagining things, proof that your work exists outside your own head, proof that your effort can create a reaction in the real world. This proof is quiet, but it is powerful. It says, I am not crazy. It says, this is real. It says, I can do this. Before this moment, everything required faith, faith without evidence, belief without confirmation, discipline without reward. You had to trust a future version of yourself that no one else could see. That is exhausting. This small win does not remove the struggle, but it removes the doubt that was slowly eating you from the inside. Doubt loses its strongest argument. It can no longer say, nothing will ever happen. This is why the first win is dangerous in the best way. It does not inflate your ego. It stabilizes your mind. It does not make you loud. It makes you calm. You no longer feel like an imposter pretending to move forward. You feel like a beginner who has taken the first real step. There is a difference. A dreamer imagines progress. A builder creates it, even in the smallest form. This moment also changes how you work. Before, you were pushing through uncertainty. Now, you are responding to reality. You start asking better questions. What worked here? Why did this happen? How can I repeat it? Your effort becomes more intentional. Your focus sharpens. You stop chasing everything. You start building something specific. Momentum is born from clarity, not excitement. The world still does not care. No one claps, no one congratulates you. If you tell people, they might smile politely or change the subject. They cannot feel what you feel. They do not see the years behind this small result. They only see the size of the outcome, not the weight of the journey. This is why the first win is private. It belongs to you. It is not meant for validation. It is meant for direction. With this proof, your identity shifts again. You are no longer someone who hopes. You are someone who has evidence. Even if that evidence is small, it is real. This changes how you carry yourself. You are still quiet, but not unsure. You are still patient, but not desperate. Your confidence is not loud, it is grounded. It comes from experience, not affirmation. This is also where discipline becomes easier. Not easy, but easier. Before, you had to force yourself to continue without feedback. Now you know feedback is possible. That knowledge fuels consistency. You understand that effort compounds. You understand that progress responds to persistence, even if the response is delayed. This understanding is more motivating than any speech. The first win also reframes failure. Rejection no longer feels like a verdict. It feels like part of the process. Silence no longer feels permanent. It feels temporary. You have seen the door open once. You know it can open again. This changes how you handle setbacks. You recover faster. You return to work sooner. You do not spiral as deeply. Most people never reach this phase because they quit in the silence before it. They leave the path inches before the first confirmation. That is why the first win feels earned in a way nothing else does. It is not luck. It is timing meeting persistence. It is effort finally catching up to opportunity. And once you experience this, you are no longer the same person. You stop being a dreamer at this point. Dreamers need motivation. Builders need systems. Builders need repetition. Builders need patience. You start thinking in terms of process instead of fantasy.
You focus on improving execution instead of explaining vision. Your energy becomes quieter and stronger at the same time. This small win does not mean you have made it. It means you have started. It does not guarantee success. It guarantees direction. And direction is everything. Because when you know you are moving the right way, you can endure almost any distance. The first small win is not the reward for your struggle. It is the confirmation that the struggle is meaningful. And once you know that, you'll keep building, regardless of who is watching.
Success does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It does not interrupt your life with fireworks or applause. It arrives quietly, almost politely, and then it grows. One day, your income becomes stable, not impressive, just reliable. One day, your confidence changes. It is no longer nervous or defensive. It becomes calm, grounded, uninterested in proving anything. Your presence shifts. You speak less, but with more certainty. You move with less urgency, but more direction. And that is when something strange happens. People remember you. They reach out casually, as if nothing ever happened. "Hey, long time. I always believed in you. I knew you'd make it. We should catch up sometime." The messages feel familiar, yet distant. You recognize the names, the voices, the tone. These are the same people who went quiet when you had nothing, the same people who laughed, doubted, or slowly disappeared while you were building in silence. They do not come back because they suddenly understand your struggle. They come back because your results now make sense to them. Your life now fits an image they respect. This is difficult to accept at first. It can trigger anger, bitterness, a desire to explain, confront, or expose the truth. But maturity changes how you interpret this moment. This is not betrayal. This is reality. The world does not run on effort. It runs on outcomes. Effort is invisible. Results are visible. People do not have the emotional capacity to invest in everyone's potential. They respond to proof, to stability, to success that feels safe to associate with. This is not personal, it is structural. Once you understand this, you stop taking it personally. Success changes how others see you because success removes uncertainty. When you were building, you represented risk. Associating with you required belief without evidence. Now you represent stability. Associating with you feels rewarding. This is why people return after you win, not because they were wrong before, but because they were human. Understanding this is important because it determines who you become next. If you take it personally, you become bitter. If you seek revenge, you become small. But if you understand it, you become free. You no longer need validation. You no longer crave recognition. You see people clearly, without resentment. This clarity changes your behavior. You do not over-explain your past. You do not justify your success. You do not remind people where they were when you were struggling. You simply continue moving forward, calm, focused, detached from approval. You do not reject people with anger. You just do not need them anymore. This is the true reward of success, not money, not status, autonomy, emotional independence. You are no longer affected by who claps and who stays silent. You are no longer controlled by external reactions. You have seen the pattern. You understand the rules. And once you understand the rules, the game loses its power over you. At this stage, something else happens internally.
You stop performing success. You stop trying to look impressive. You stop explaining your journey to people who were never part of it. You build quietly, intentionally, for yourself. Your motivation is no longer fueled by proving others wrong. It is fueled by alignment with who you have become. You also begin to see the difference between spectators and partners. Spectators arrive when the story is finished. Partners are present during the construction. This awareness sharpens your boundaries. You choose your circle carefully, not based on history, but on values, not based on familiarity, but on integrity. Some people may never return. Others may return briefly. A few may genuinely want to reconnect. You do not need to judge them harshly. You simply decide how much access they have to your present life. Success gives you that power, not to control others, but to protect yourself. This phase teaches a final, uncomfortable lesson. Respect is not given for who you are becoming. It is given for what you have already done. That is why chasing validation is a losing game. Validation arrives too late to help you and too early to define you. Once you accept this, you stop seeking permission to exist confidently. When people return after you win, you do not need to correct them. You do not need to educate them. You do not need closure. You already have it. Your life is the explanation. Your consistency is the answer. Your calm confidence is the response. And perhaps the most important realization of all appears here. You did not build your life to be understood. You built it to be lived. You did not endure silence to be applauded later. You endured it to become self-sufficient, stable, and grounded. The applause, when it comes, feels distant, almost irrelevant. This is why the strongest people do not talk much about their journey. They do not need to. They know who stayed, they know who left, they know what it took, and they know that respect from the world is conditional, but respect for oneself is permanent. Once you understand that the world respects outcomes, not effort, you stop chasing validation, you stop waiting to be seen, you stop hoping people will understand. You build anyway, quietly, consistently, for yourself. And that is when success no longer controls you. You control it.
You don't walk alone because you are unlucky. You don't walk alone because you are difficult, unlovable, or misunderstood. You walk alone because growth requires separation. Every meaningful transformation demands distance from what is familiar, comfortable, and validating. If everyone stays with you while you change, then you are not changing deeply enough. Growth is disruptive. It creates tension, and tension naturally pushes people away. Walking alone is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is forming. When you begin to outgrow your environment, the environment resists, not out of hatred, but out of balance. People are comfortable with who you were. They understand your old limits. Your growth challenges their expectations, and rather than adjust, many choose distance. This separation is not punishment, it is alignment. If everyone stays, you're not growing fast enough. That truth is uncomfortable, but it is consistent. Growth changes your priorities. It changes your schedule. It changes your tolerance for distraction. It changes what you value and what you ignore. When this happens, some people no longer fit naturally into your life. Trying to carry them forward slows you down. Walking alone removes friction. Walking alone teaches discipline without applause. When nobody is watching, you either show up or you don't. There is no external pressure, no praise, no audience to perform for. Discipline becomes internal. You learn to act because it matters to you, not because someone is clapping. This kind of discipline is rare because it cannot be borrowed. It must be built in silence, through repetition, without recognition. Walking alone also teaches confidence without approval. When you stop receiving reassurance, you stop outsourcing your self-worth. You learn to trust your judgment. You make decisions without asking for permission. You move forward even when no one agrees. This confidence is not loud or aggressive. It is calm and grounded. It does not need to be defended because it is not dependent on opinion. Most importantly, walking alone teaches belief without support. This is the hardest lesson. Belief without support means continuing when no one encourages you, no one understands you, and no one checks in. It means choosing your future every day without emotional reinforcement. This level of belief changes you permanently. Once you develop it, you are no longer fragile. You cannot be easily discouraged because your motivation is no longer external. Many people fear walking alone because they confuse loneliness with failure. But loneliness is not failure. Loneliness is space. Space to think clearly. Space to hear your own voice. Space to build without interference. When you remove noise, you remove doubt that does not belong to you. You begin to understand what you truly want, not what others expect from you. Walking alone also reveals truth. It shows you who was there for convenience and who was there for character. It shows you who supports your growth and who only tolerates your stagnation. This clarity is painful, but it is necessary. Without it, you build your life on unstable relationships. With it, you build on integrity. And when you finally win, something interesting happens. You don't need their friendship anymore. Not because you are angry, not because you feel superior, but because you have learned to stand on your own. You are no longer searching for validation, reassurance, or belonging. You have built an internal foundation strong enough to support you. Success speaks louder than explanations. You no longer feel the need to tell your story to be understood. You no longer explain why you disappeared, why you worked so hard, why you changed. Your life answers those questions without words. Your consistency explains your absence. Your stability explains your silence. Your results explain your choices. This is why walking alone is necessary. It removes dependency. It removes distraction. It removes the need to be liked. It forces you to become self-directed. And self-directed people are unstoppable, not because they are perfect, but because they are not easily influenced. Walking alone is not the goal. It is the process. It is the phase where identity is forged, not borrowed, where strength is built, not performed, where belief becomes unshakable because it was tested in isolation. When you come out of this phase, you are not the same person who entered it. You are quieter, stronger, and clearer. So if you are walking alone right now, do not rush to escape it. Do not label it as failure. Do not assume something is wrong. This path is shaping you in ways comfort never could. One day, you will look back and realize that the loneliness was not emptiness, it was preparation. Walking alone does not mean you will always be alone. It means you are learning how not to need anyone in order to move forward. And that is the kind of independence that makes future relationships healthier, not weaker. You choose people, not cling to them. You build with intention, not fear. This is the final truth. Walking alone is not the opposite of success. It is the doorway to it. If you're walking alone right now, good. Not because it feels good, but because it means something important is happening beneath the surface. It means you are early. It means you stepped forward before the world was ready to recognize you. It means you chose growth over comfort and clarity over belonging. Most people never make that choice. They wait until it is safe. You didn't. Walking alone means you are building something that cannot yet be explained. Your past environment does not understand you, because it was built for an older version of you. You no longer fit inside the expectations, habits, and limits that once felt normal. That disconnect hurts, but it is also proof that you are changing faster than your surroundings. So don't rush to be seen. Being seen too early often weakens you. Attention before structure creates pressure you are not ready to carry. Let your foundation grow quietly. Let your skills mature without commentary. Let your discipline harden without interruption. You are not hiding, you are incubating. Don't beg to be believed. Belief borrowed from others is fragile. It disappears the moment doubt enters the room. Build belief through action, through repetition, through showing up when no one checks in. Self-belief earned this way cannot be taken from you because it was not given to you. Keep walking, even when the path feels empty, even when progress feels slow, even when doubt sounds reasonable. Walk anyway. Learn something every day. Refine your habits. Sharpen your focus. Repeat the work that feels boring but meaningful. This is how strength compounds. This is how identity locks in. Understand this clearly. You are not behind. You are in formation. The silence you feel now is not rejection. It is preparation. The distance you feel from others is not loss. It is alignment. You are being separated from who you were so you can become who you need to be. One day, you will notice that you no longer feel the urge to explain yourself. You will no longer rehearse conversations in your head. You will no longer need approval to move forward. Your life will speak in ways words never could. Your consistency will answer questions no one asked out loud. Your calm will explain the chaos you survived. When that day comes, you will look back at this moment with gratitude. You will realize that walking alone was not abandonment. It was permission. Permission to grow without limits. Permission to choose yourself. Permission to build a life that does not need to be defended. So stay quiet. Stay focused. Stay moving. This phase will not last forever, but what it builds inside you will. And when the world finally sees you, you won't need to say a word. Your life will do it for you.